Who's got it better than us?
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Join Hanson, Scotty G, coming up on Friday from noon to 3 at Tim Daly Mazda in Sandy, 10785 South Auto Mall Drive. We are going to talk to Mike Smith coming up here momentarily. We'll get his thoughts on what's going on with the Jazz. I'm sure he's a little bummed. He likes to see the Jazz beat the Clippers when they play.
Former team.
Well, he'd worked for him for a long time and kind of a friendly rivalry. I don't think he's bitter about the Clippers, but, kind of like to see the new gig win, right?
Jazz are 3-12, and they're since January 1st. 3-13 if you go back to December 30th. But if you just say since the new year, Jan 1, they have a 20% win percentage, which is extraordinarily low and would put them on pace to win 7 more games the rest of the season and finish with just 22 victories. I don't think that's generous enough. I think they are going to win more than 22 games. I think they're going to pick up more than 7 wins over the rest of the season. I think January was particularly difficult, and Lowry missed a lot of the season, but he will probably miss a lot of the rest of the season as well. As will Keontae George. We saw him miss his first game last night.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on what length they're willing to go, honestly. And I don't know the answer to that. Where's the line for them? I'm not sure. How they decide what games to play everybody and whatnot. I mean, and even that doesn't work out. They beat Minnesota, San Antonio, Dallas. I mean, all these teams when
Boston,
They were trying to lose to the T-Wolves by not playing Lowry. I know illness and all of that, but basically that was coming home the second night of a back-to-back after a long road trip, and they mess around and win it. I mean, I don't know. And the last month of the NBA season is just wacky.
Correct. Now, the last 10 games for the Jazz, they're on the road a lot. It would be easy to not play some of these players.
But who are they playing? That's what matters.
Yeah.
Are they playing teams that are trying, or are they playing teams that are not? Because if they're playing teams that are trying, they should be able to lose every single one. They're playing teams that are not, then it's one of those things. Last year, didn't they have to trade basically wins with Washington?
Yeah.
Wasn't it, I don't know if it was a gentleman's agreement or what, but the Jazz basically booted the game at Washington, and then the Wizards booted the game in Salt Lake City.
I think so.
I don't know if they did that beforehand, but that's how it worked out.
Well, here's your last 10 games of the season. Home against Washington, to your point.
Trying to lose.
At Denver.
You would think trying to win, but especially with that many games going, I'd say, okay, trying to win.
At Phoenix.
Probably trying to win.
Home against Cleveland. Cleveland's trying to win.
It depends on how the East is shaking out. I'm not sure.
They're trying to stay out of the play-in tournament. Home against Denver, at Houston, at Oklahoma City.
Not trying to win, probably. Not trying to win, probably. At New Orleans, I guess, trying to win, but maybe just mailed it in.
The Jazz are trying to win? Or
New
those
Orleans.
teams? Yeah.
Because they don't have any reason to lose.
Yeah.
And then Memphis, who knows? They're probably trying to lose. They might be out of it. At the Lakers, and in the last game of the season, the Lakers could be going for playoff position. We've seen that. I mean, it's just so wacky. There could be 4 wins in there. We just rattled off 10.
Yeah.
All right. Joining us now, he makes the magic happen for K-Jazz, Jazz Plus. He joins us on Wednesdays. He's our buddy Mike Smith. What's going on, Mike?
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're doing terrific. Hey, Mike, Jazz are 3-12 in their last 15 since January 1st. My question for you is, how do you play these last 35 games of the season? And we know they're not interested in winning as many games as possible. How do you not waste them, though? What does a successful close to the season look like, taking wins and losses out of the conversation?
Good question. Well, they have an identity, right? There's a couple things that Will Hardy demanded that have been established. We're going to play hard every night. We're going to pass the ball. And those things have come to fruition. They do play hard. They do share the rock as well as any team in the league. They're so good in that little rub action and the top of the key, screen assist and handoff action. And then they move it, which is awesome. That's become part of a Jazz team. The Will Hardy Jazz era now in year 4, they are going to pass the ball as well as anybody, which I love. And they have offensive firepower. This is just the way I think of it. I'm not on management, but I would play every remaining home game at full strength, provided everyone's healthy, and let the chips fall where they may. And, I get what's going on, and the road games are the road games, and you're not going to win all of those, and you're not even going to win all the home games. But I've seen glimpses of the development of these youngsters. So, that to me is the rest of this year. Of course, I would let Keontae continue to play at the level he's playing. He's vying for most improved player. I think he's in the top 3 with Denny Avdia in Portland and Jalen Johnson in Atlanta on the East. I think those 3 guys are going to have it out for most improved player in the league, which is a significant honor. It's one Lowry won 4 years ago. We've seen his progress. We've seen Lowry's all-star type play. He had a little bit of a clunker last night, right? First game back in forever. I haven't seen an injury report yet, but if he's in the lineup tonight, I would expect him to play much better. But I'm watching the progress of Cody Williams and Collier and, Bryce has had that great stretch before he got ill. I'm accentuating those things. I'm letting them play and giving them opportunities and wanting to see what they can do in different situations as a starter, as a defensive stopper, as go score me 25. This is all about what the rest of this year, their development. I just don't think you can keep all those guys going forward, right? You have, I don't know how many guys it is, but it feels like 3 a year other than Walker's year now that Ochai's gone, but it just feels like 3 a year we keep adding to the mix. You can't keep them all going forward. You got more picks coming up. So you want to know which ones you're keeping, which ones are the stars, which ones show the most promise. But it's fun. I'm having a blast covering this team. And I know last night started great but didn't finish great. That's okay. The Clippers are rolling right now. 16 out of 19. Who's going to knock them out in a 7-game series? Maybe a healthy Denver, maybe OKC, maybe San Antonio, not sure. Minnesota, perhaps. But they're in the mix now.
Mike, I want to ask you kind of a big picture question here. I've seen in my years covering the NBA and certainly the Jazz, I've seen letting talented players on their rookie deals hit restricted free agency. I've seen the Jazz do it multiple times. And I would say historically for them, it hasn't worked out all that well. See what happened with Gordon Hayward, and we don't need to dive into that necessarily. And I don't have any inside info on the negotiations with Walker Kessler. I mean, we can't all be playing Pebble Beach with Danny Ainge like the great Mike Smith does. But I'm curious. I saw Mark Stein reported yesterday that the Wizards are reportedly planning to make a run at Walker Kessler this offseason. Mark then added that the Jazz are confident they'll be able to re-sign the center, which, of course, they are. He's a restricted free agent. Of course, they're confident about that. But my question to you is, how valuable is Walker Kessler, and what do you think about not extending him, injury aside, because they didn't know that when they made that decision?
Well, from what I've been watching lately, the high-power offense that they have, the high-octane offense, when they're at their best, so Keontae giving you 25 and Lowry 28 and pushing the ball and playing with pace and moving the ball and then having, players give you, some help, like the nights that Sensabaugh is scoring. And I feel like, I could be off, I could be wrong, but I feel like with a really, let's say, a fortunate draft pick this year, and let's say one of the 5 best players in college basketball that comes your way, and then you go make a deal, sign a free agent, make a trade for a couple of defensive-minded players, I feel like you're in the mix, like top 6 in the West. That's just what it feels like to me. And that's them watching them beat Minnesota and take San Antonio to the end and watching them play with the home crowd behind them like, yeah, they have their flaws. And, yeah, we could go ad nauseum on their turnovers and their defense. And those two things have to be addressed. Like, they have to be fixed. But if you keep a Walker, you get a great draft pick, like a star. And then you go get a couple of defensive stoppers, like defensive-minded players who don't need the ball. Think of a Royce O'Neal type, like, just for lack of a better thing coming to my mind. I think you're in the mix. Like, I think you are a top 5, top 6 team in the West next year. So it feels like, to me, it's there. It's coming. It's birthing. It's on the mend. It's like with a healthy Walker who anchors a defense and blocks shots and becomes a factor and changes shots. Like, I can almost see it. Now, I know that takes some pieces to fall and some good fortune to fall your way. You know, if you finish with the 6th best record and you get the 8th pick again, maybe that's not as fortunate as if you get the 3rd pick in what looks like to be a fantastic draft. Right, I did happen to watch BYU and Arizona the other night, and I had not previously seen the guard Burries for Arizona play. He was a stud. That kid was head and shoulders better than anyone on the floor who was under 6'8". Like, he was really, really good and won the game for him at the end. Now, A.J. Devonta was the top talent. Didn't have his best game. That's okay. But his greatness forced Arizona to alter their defense the entire night and gave open shots to other people. So, am I skirting the question? Like, are you asking me to put a stamp a yes on Walker? I like Walker. I've always liked Walker. Is Walker going to be a 10-time All-Star when it's all said and done? No, I don't think so. Not unless his offensive game improves considerably. But he doesn't have to be that. In my opinion, he could just be the best version of Walker, and that might be good enough to get this team where they need to be defensively. You know what's interesting? Teams evolve as personnel evolves. And so one of the things I look at as I prepare for a game is I'll go back 5 years, and I'll say, okay, where was this team 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year, this year? And I'll look at their record, what they did in the playoffs, their roster, and then I'll look at what they were offensively rated, defensively rated, and then net rating, right, which is the combination of the two. Like, in preparation for Golden State tonight, right? Like, they were the number 1 rated defensive team 5 years ago. What did they do? They won the championship. Okay, in the next succeeding couple of years, not as good defensively. They just weren't. Not close. 14th, 15th, right? Didn't fare as well. Got to the second round, lost to the Lakers one of those years. One of those years didn't make the playoffs. Now they're trending the other way again. I'm not saying the Warriors are a championship contender by any means, but they are top 5 in the league defensively, or maybe it's 6 right now based on the last couple of games. So, like, you see these trends happen. I used to talk to Greg Popovich all the time because I just love picking his brain. And he would say to me different things each year based on our personnel, Mike. This year we're going to win with offense. We still have Tim Duncan. We still have this. We're going to win with offense. We're going to shoot threes. We're going to run. We're going to shoot threes. And then on another occasion, he said to me, he goes, oh, we don't have the personnel to do that. We're going to win with defense. And we're going to anchor our defense. And our defense is so good this year, we're not going to gamble. No steals, no turnovers forced. We're not going for offensive rebounds. And he would tell that to me. And he said, look at our stats. We suck at this, suck at this. We don't go for offensive rebounds. But we're the number 1 defensive rated team, rebounding team. And we get back on defense. We don't turn it over. And we don't go for things. And so they face our anchored set defense every time, and we win because of it. Like, it's just super interesting to watch. So, yes, we need to improve. Walker would help. Like, if they can become a adequate defensive team with what I'm seeing offensively, I think they make a run at the playoffs next year, not 4 years from now. Next year, I said this about OKC and Houston 3 and 4 years ago. They were winning 20 games. OKC won 22 games. And I'm like, in 4 years, they're the best team in the West. And people laughed. I said, look at Houston. They've drafted well. In 3 years, if they could get a stud to join them, they're an elite team in the West. That's where they are. So, anyway, you got me off on a tangent, Jake.
Sure did. That was well skirted there, Mike.
Giannis apparently is open to a trade. Milwaukee is open to trading Giannis Antetokounmpo. Where are you on Giannis at this point in his career? 31. He's great when he's on the floor. He's not on the floor all that often. Is he going to be the best player on a championship team still?
Yes. Yes, he can be. And, like, I was trying to think of what team. San Antonio should trade for him right now. Like, why not? I think they have a bunch of trade exceptions. They just drafted a bunch of young kids, right? I'm not that high on Dylan Harper. I know he's the second pick in the draft. I know he has good genealogy. I know his dad won 5 titles. Not a fan. He's a rookie. I don't see him every night. I just don't think he's ever going to be a great shooter. He's a good playmaker. He's tall. To me, he's Jalen Rose, if you remember that player. That's what I think he'll be, which is a good player, a good NBA player. I can't remember off the top of my head if Jalen Rose was ever an All-Star, but my guess would be no. But put up good numbers. You know, his best year is probably a 17 or 18 point a game, maybe 7 rebounds, 7 assist guy, which he could become. And the people in San Antonio would tell me I'm nuts because they're on the verge of being great for a long time, and they're young. But I think you could package him with some picks and some other players, get Giannis and have their double twin towers again and be the favorite to win the West. I don't know. I don't follow it like that, but to answer your question, Ben, I think he's still a number one on a contending team. He's 31. He's just been around forever. I don't know if this is year 12 or 13. He's won 2 MVPs in the last, 6 years or 7 years? The other 5 years, he's been top 5 in the voting. Like, he's impossible to stop. Maybe he's just tired of Milwaukee, and that's why he's not playing a lot. Like, once he gets new blood, like, look what Jordan did at his age. Look what Steph Curry's doing at 37. Like, guys motivated and incentivized can be great for long periods of time. Now, for sure.
Hot take for you, Mike. The Warriors should trade Steph Curry immediately.
They should, but they won't. They absolutely should, but they won't. I can't imagine them doing it.
They're going nowhere, though, right? I mean, we're going to see them tonight.
They're going nowhere.
Yeah, they're going nowhere.
They're going nowhere. I don't know if you saw the game they played 2 nights ago without Steph, without Draymond. It was mind-boggling terrible. Like, I don't even remember who they played or what they scored, but it was so bad. And so Steph makes up such a difference for that team. Like, literally, he's carried them. Some could argue Durant was a great addition, right? And 2 titles, and maybe they don't win those without him. I don't know. But it feels like Steph won 2 titles on his own. Certainly the one 5 years ago. His will not to lose in that one game at Boston was just incredible. He is of greatness. You've heard me say it before. If he plays 3 more full years, he gets to 5,000 three-pointers made at 42%. Nobody's getting to 4,000. Nobody. Not Harden, who's the only guy in 3,000 range. He's at 3,200 something. He'd have to play 6 more years at his declining levels. That's not happening. You got a handful of guys that'll get to 3,000. Donovan, Tatum, Luka, Trae Young maybe a Buddy Hield if he hangs on a little bit longer, but his levels are declining. So you got more shots being taken. Nobody will do what he's done or be who he is. And so He's a great player. He's full of greatness inside, but they're lost without him, no question. Draymond Green would never be as good for any other team in the league as he was for that team at that time with Steph and Clay. He would have been a solid NBA player. Draymond Green's got to be the best player in the history of the NBA with an 8.7 career point per game average. Honestly.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, thanks for coming on, pal. We appreciate it.
I'll see you guys tonight at the arena.
Yeah, are you coming in? You going to do pregame with us?
No, I have other duties tonight on a home game, but...
Oh, it is a home game. My bad. Yeah.
I'll see you in the press room, and I'll see you out there.
Well, if you want to, come visit us in the Radio Command Center, you're always welcome.
Okay.
All
Thanks,
right.
Mike.
Thanks, Mike. There you go, the one and only Mike Smith.
Again, I trade him to San Antonio. If I'm San Antonio, I'm throwing a lot at the Bucks to get Giannis Antetokounmpo because I'm also treating Victor Wembanyama's career like this is his peak. That doesn't mean he can't get better. I'm just not betting on him having a 10-year NBA career.
I still don't know if it would work.
Yeah, it might not.
Yeah.
It might not. But, there's no guarantee it's going to work without him either.
And by the way, that was the longest ducking of a question I've ever heard with the Walker Kessler. That was a real talented. I think they're in a pinch with Walker, to be honest.
I think you sign him, whatever offer he gets. I think you probably actually just give him a good offer because the Jazz can negotiate with him even before any other team can. Now, maybe he just wants to wait and see how much money he can get. I do think that's dangerous because teams are actually going to be scared off once they recognize, the Jazz are going to match any offer. Why would I tie money up?
Yeah, I've said that before, but yet I've seen it happen a bunch of times.
And then the Jazz could trade him if they want to. That's the thing. You can always trade him.
I think they need to. I agree with you. They should sign him, but they should come to grips with the fact that they're going to sign him with more than they're comfortable paying him. And that's always been true. And why I don't understand the heartburn about the extension. I still, those guys over there know way more than me. Mm-hmm. And I'm not in the room for Walker Kessler's extension. But it doesn't pay to let good players that you actually value hit restricted free agency. It burns you more than it helps. The Jazz had to give up on Wes Matthews, a really talented guy that they loved, because Portland screwed him with a restricted free agent deal. And they gave Paul Millsap way more than they wanted to because Portland screwed him with a restricted free agent deal. And then with Gordon Hayward, when that happened, he was getting a max contract no matter what.
Yeah, he was.
And so what was the point of that other than just ticking off the player?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was curious to me that they didn't do it going into this year. And I don't know if they're going to come out with a bargain on Walker Kessler if that's what they're trying. I don't know. But I don't know what he was asking for.
And I don't know what Washington's going to offer. We hear someone say they're preparing an offer.
Oh, they're going to give him like a max deal, dude. That's what you have to do to land a restricted free agent. That's why it gets so bananas.
If the Jazz see that coming, there's a very realistic chance that they could trade him before next Thursday and just say, we're not going to pay you that. We'll just give you to a team that then has your restricted free agency rights and they can sign you to whatever. But we want to get something for you right now because we're not going to give you $160 million.
Hey, the Jazz been on the other end of it. They signed Jason Terry and Corey Maggette one offseason to ludicrous contracts that the other teams, the Clippers and the Hawks at the time, had to absolutely swallow and did not work out well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know the logic behind all this stuff, but I bet it's going to cost them, even though Walker got hurt.
I'm curious. I honestly have no idea.
All right, what you got Wednesday coming up next? Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.